Okay, so welcome to the office. I just finished actually sharing a session with my colleagues here, and I figured why not share it with you guys because I got the question, what can you do to live a bit more of a healthy lifestyle? So I actually put together a bit of a presentation here. So I'm sharing it here in a kind of an office environment, not typically what I do, but figured why not? So just a few quick slides here on how you can live a more healthy lifestyle and some habits perhaps. And also try to put together some pictures here with AI, trying out some new tools. So hope you will enjoy it. So first out, why is health even important? Well, I think everyone wants to live longer, hopefully. So I think it's a great way to make sure you can get more out of your life, actually. But for me personally, also just making sure that you have more energy to do what is actually really important for you and when you work, but also outside of work during weekends or with your family. And of course, down the line, making sure that you don't have to spend a lot of money if you get sick. Hopefully, you don't get sick, but you can at least reduce the risk of that. And of course, if you have a more healthy lifestyle, hopefully, you don't encounter things like diabetes or illnesses related to if you're overweight, for example, or eat very unhealthy food. So that is why I think it's very important. And health, it's a journey. It's not about being perfect and doing every step right along the way. I think getting started is key. Then you can just get better and better and maybe add more things along the way. You don't have to go all in and do everything. And it's key to be patient and learn and have habits along the way. And also, I think if you do it the right way, you will feel a lot better because, of course, if you have a good heart, good health, you can produce more if you're at work, but also during the weekends when you take time off, you can feel much better and have more energy. You're not lethargic, which you can be if you eat the wrong things and don't exercise. And also, of course, if you're interested in it, your physical appearance actually can change quite dramatically. Your skin and everything about you. Basically, if someone looks healthy, it's typically a natural sign that they're actually having a healthy lifestyle. And also the other way around, if you are not sleeping enough, you're eating the wrong things, you're very stressed and so on, it typically shows in your physical appearance. And of course, just having the inner health figure out for your organs, you can't really see that, but it's critical if you want to have a long and healthy lifestyle. So what are the secrets? Well, I think getting the right vitamins and minerals on the top here, you can get it from your food, but you can also supplement with that. Antioxidants you can get, for example, from berries, blueberries, and so on. Sleep, I mentioned. I think it's the easiest hack or low-hanging fruit for most people. Depends on how much you need, but somewhere between 7 to 9 hours. If you go several days with too little, you definitely feel it. And especially, I mean, for myself, for example, I travel sometimes and you are jet lagged, you can't sleep, you wake up 2 in the morning, you definitely can't perform at your best compared to the day when you're sleeping enough. Or if you get hurt, for example, I did had a bit of a small injury in the gym, so it was painful, and then of course immediately you kind of feel less focused and can focus on things you really want to improve in your life. And also hydration, key. I always have glasses so I can drink water and not things with sugar inside. So water, tea, coffee, for example. And obviously exercise. Everyone probably needs or knows you should do that, but it's easier to skip. I try to make it part of my morning routine every day to get up, either go for a walk or go to the gym, or if you like running and so on, you can do that. Personally, I prefer walking. So when you get into what to eat and perhaps more what not to eat, I think there are many different approaches. But eating natural, real foods that came from a tree or the ground or an animal, it's a good way to go. But there are of course many different ideologies here. You can be vegan and so on as well. But if you eat fruit, vegetables, and for example beef, fish, seafood, it's a great fuel for your body. Basically, is it something that was actually grown? Then it's good. And obviously, if you're interested in building muscle, protein is very important. It's important even if you're not going to the gym to rebuild the body actually as well. So I think this picture got a little bit too big to fit on the screen, but basically, junk food is not great. It might be fun, exciting in the moment, but it's not really great for fueling your body. It's usually not even actually food, it's just processed. And the thing is that you don't really get full from it because these foods are engineered to make you feel good and craving more. So eat more than you need. So listen to your body and stop. And if you actually eat real foods, for an example, minced beef with potatoes and a salad, you actually feel natural satiety to stop eating, which you typically don't if you eat, for example, fast food. Then, of course, exercise. Everyone knows that is important. I try to get in at least 30 minutes a day, hopefully more, maybe 1 hour. I prefer walking. You can listen to a podcast, listen to the news. You can mix it up for strength training, gym, for example, cardio, and flexibility if you're into yoga and those kind of things. It's, of course, up to your personal preferences there. And typically you get dopamine if you exercise, which means you actually feel better, like the runner's high you might get after running, for example. So I think great to just boost your mood. And then, of course, another factor is to surround yourself with positive, uplifting people that are not toxic. So you can have meaningful discussions, have fun, laugh, explore, do whatever you want. But people that lift you up, don't pull you down, because then you can reduce your stress levels and also your cortisol levels, which of course means better health. And you don't need alcohol or food to socialize, even if that is sometimes the norm. Just having coffee or tea is totally fine. I definitely prefer to do that in the weekend together with friends, have some coffee. Sleep, once again, very underrated. I think 7 to 9 hours is great. I personally aim at 8. I can function on less, but I feel less the sort of motivation to actually do things if I skip or lose out on sleep. But of course, if you're really tired, you can maybe have some coffee or something to boost energy. But it's not great to be constantly sleep deprived. You can't actually catch up on sleep if you lose out. So great for your brain, metabolism, and your immune system. And also try to avoid screens before go to bed. It can affect your sleep, or eating just before going to bed, so leaving a few hours for digestion. So what should you do? Well, step 1, sleep good, surround yourself with good people, exercise, and macro stands for macronutrients. So basically what's in the food. We talked about the vitamins and so on, but also have a good ratio of protein, carbs, and fats. And of course, we can talk about that for a very long time. But make sure you get nutrient-rich food, so not junk food. It's actually real food that someone has cooked. And of course, needless to say, smoking is not great for you, and everything else that is damaging, including alcohol. So if you can minimize that, the better for you. Make sure you get the energy from the real food, avoiding the junk. And also, before you start any health journey, I think it can be great to just do a health check. Of course, it depends on if you can afford it or not, but definitely recommended. It's all about being proactive and preventing future illness instead of taking action once you get sick. I think down the line, of course, you can save you a lot of money. So if you spend a little bit to figure out your health situation right now instead of waiting once you get sick, that is probably better. So what are some signs that you might actually be sick? Well, a large waist circumference. So, well, if you're basically feeling that your gut is bigger than you thought is normal, it can be a very bad sign actually of having visceral fat, which is not great for you. And also your hormones can be affected. And then, of course, if you look very tired, dark circles, and feel just tired and sluggish and lethargic, those are all signs that you might benefit from improving some aspects of your life. So what does it mean? Well, if you take health more seriously, you can have a lot more energy and focus, stronger immune system. Also, I think lower risk of disease. Personally, I'm very seldom sick, knock on wood, of course. Maybe partially genetic, but I think it also comes down to a lot your lifestyle, what kind of food you eat, and so on. And mental clarity. For myself, I do fasting in the morning, for example, so I feel a lot sharper. And also avoiding a big lunch, very low carb, and save that for the evening. And then I have very stable energy throughout the whole day. So for me, optimizing for performance is actually very important. So I think if you're going to change things about your lifestyle, looking into nutrition, actually kind of putting a log on what you're eating, think through it, increase activity. You can track steps, for an example, and add in a daily routine. And also fasting, I mentioned it briefly. So I fast typically every weekend, at least 16/8 or even 24 hours. So basically only eating once per day. And that is totally natural. You don't need to eat from the second you wake up. That's just something that we've been told. And if you do that, you get in a very natural, alert state, and you can be very productive. So I highly recommend it. It can take some time to get used to it because you're not fat adapted, so the body is not used to using the fat for fuel. It always runs on carbs. So if you just do that change overnight, it can be tricky. But I definitely recommend trying it. And of course, if your goal is fat loss, that's one of the fastest way to achieve that. So on the topic of weight loss or fat loss, basically your body is representing what you eat and what you don't eat and your activity. So if you don't move and eat too much over time, you build up just like a battery and save calories for a rainy day. But maybe that rainy day never comes. So you're just constantly adding on. So what you can do is to stop eating basically, and then the body sees that you actually have fat stored in the body. You can use it for energy. So it's about balancing that over the week. If you eat more some days, you can do that, enjoy that, but then you cut back some other days and you can balance it out. And if you're constantly gaining weight, it's because you don't have that balance. So that's something to reflect upon. And also the meal timing, as I mentioned, doing fasting part of the day is very natural. We had to go out and hunt and eat a lot before, and then we didn't get food for some time, and the body used up the stored energy. So very natural. Then, of course, it's about the journey. You don't have progress all the time. Sometimes you have setbacks. You can get sick or be very busy, or something happens. You're off your diet or forget to exercise. So it's not about the short term. It's about, it's not a sprint. It's a marathon. And not being perfect all the time. I think it's more knowing where you're going and continuing having sight of the big picture. Already mentioned, limit the bad things you put in your body, having natural foods, making sure that you're hydrated, and actually reading on food labels. That is another entire topic. But when you buy things in most countries, you can actually read on the backside how many calories, protein, fats, and carbs that's inside. Highly recommend getting into that habit of checking it so you know what you're eating, and also the ingredient list. Basically, the shorter, the better. So what I like to do every day is to track my progress. What's measured gets managed. So for example, steps, calories, your weight, the many things you can track. Just track your budget, financially, what goes in, what goes out, and so on. Have goals that you work towards, and then adjust as you go along to see if you're getting closer or not. So if you think it's a big thing to get started, I think just think about how this can make you feel better. If you have energy, you're happy, laughing with friends, you're not tired, creating memories and a healthy version of you, and being active, and maybe even find new friends by doing that if you go into some fitness groups or other activities. So I think fitness, it's not a punishment, it's a reward. It's something you can cherish. You'll be happy you have a body, and make use of it, and maybe combine it with socializing and creating memories. Go for a run or do a Spartan or something else. It can be a lot more fun than maybe what you think if you're seeing it's just something that's tough and boring and that you get tired from it. I think it can create a lot of positive energy actually. So step one, start moving. Figure out what works for you with your balance. It's not 7 days a week, maybe it's 3 times a week. Tweaking a little bit your diet, and make sure that you eat the right things. Yes, that's all I had for you. Very short. Let me know if you have some questions. I can do more deep dives, but just wanted to share this, fresh off the press here, making this. I got the question, so why not share it with you guys? Hope you have a fantastic Friday and weekend ahead, and I'll see you in the next video.